Right, so as you all know, we're MDE dealers for the Northwest. So this shear's just come in, Koala 400mm cut. This one's having something different fitted to it, which is just sat over there, that smart grip. First one of them I've sold, so I'll show you. I'm going to show you fitting it anyway. It's not just literally bolt on and I've done with it, but I'll show you what the crack is. So first, you're going to take that nut off. There's another bolt at the bottom that goes through the pin. Pull that pin out, put the bigger pin in for the smart grip on top, and then the smart grip sits over it, and all is happy and well. So I'll show you making this. I've got a hitch bracket to make for it as well, so I'll show you making that. It's going to be a slightly different hitch bracket because it's got to be further back to keep the hitch away from the smart grip. So if anybody is interested in a grab or a shear, I can do really good deals on shears at the minute. Get them out the door. We can do fantastic deals. I would say, I know I'm biased, obviously, because I sell these, but I think these are the best built ones on the market at the minute. The grabs are all hard ox. These are all hard ox. Size of that. I've got big hands as well. They're a really smart shear. I will show this one on the machine because I've got to set the smart grip up. That'll be tomorrow. I'm going to take it out and put it on, so there will be a couple of, probably put some shorts up while I'm there doing it. But yeah, I'll bring you back when I get that pin out and the new pin in, and show you what I mean by the smart grip. Right, just wanted to show you how I was getting on with this. So I've knocked this main pin out, which goes through here, and I put in the bigger one for the smart grip. I've just slid the smart grip arm on top of the pin. So next thing up is that there, which I've got the digger on now. That lifts on top, bolts on, and then I fit the pin in the ram. Job's a good one. Should be pretty simple once we get that on top, and then I can start making hitch bracket, because I need to make sure my hitch bracket's not going to hit it in any way, and my hitch needs to be plenty far enough away, because behind it hitch they've got like a big lump of steel, so obviously you want to keep that as far away as you can. So anyway, I'll bring you back when we get a bit further. Right, so I've got that smart grip on now. You can see what the crack is there. So that's the grip fully fitted. So I've just got to make a hitch bracket for it, which I'm going to do now, and then that's that sorted. It's going out tomorrow, so I'll get this hitch bracket fired up. As you can see, it's slightly different because it's got to come further down. It's got to come further back, sorry, not further down, because obviously you don't want the hitch hitting any of this. Personally, I think it'd be better off with a little guard over that, but anyway. Right, so that's an MDE 400 with a smart grip. It's going on a 14 tonner with an extra counterweight and a blade, so should be mint. We'll try and get some videos of it in action when it gets going. And yeah, any inquiries on MDE gear in the Northwest or further afield, give us a shout. We're not it's really good quality equipment, full hard ox. You ain't getting a right lot better anywhere else. They're really pushing on our MDE, so the pricing is on point for what you're getting anyway. It's definitely on point. If you want any info on this setup or a different setup, they do make this smart grip for all of their shears now, so you can have this smart grip on a 1.5 tonner. obviously not that size, it'd be obviously smaller, but the yeah, you can put a smart grip on a 150 shear or a 200 shear for a 5 tonner or a 300 shear for like a 6 to 10 ton machine. Well, 6 to 13 really. You can put a 300 or a 13 tonner quite easily. This, I think the 400 is better on a 13 tonner. I know it's heavier, but you get a lot more power out of it. And to be honest, the 13 tonner handles it well enough. Without the smart grip, the 13 tonner handles this fine. With the smart grip, you're going to want extra counterweight and probably a blade, just to keep it firmly planted. But right, I'll see you on the next one. Right, so we're back on the hitch bracket jobs here. So this is a 20mm hitch bracket with 65mm pins for a 13/14 tonner. So just mocked it up on here because I didn't 100% know what this angle was going to be. I did measure it. I think it's about 100 degrees, but so I am going to just trim this edge of this back slightly, just so that I can get a nice weld in there. Probably just, and so maybe take 10mm off it. I'll try it with a big plasma and see how we go. I have already cut this end down because it was touching this, so I'll clean that end up as well. The hitch is here, so that's the bracket, which is fine, fits fairly well. Probably going to end up with another packer in it to make it another 20mm further away, like that, because it's currently not going to fit. Well, I don't think it's going to fit anyway, but we need loads of room at this back to get the back of the hitch in and not hit that pipe. Sorry for the shaky video, it's a bit difficult holding it all up. Thinking back about it, I probably should have moved this hole back into here. I might still do that, we'll see. Anyway, I'll bring you back when I get a bit further. Right, so as you can see, got this plate tacked up, got them tacked up, I've got the pins tacked in. So you can see here what I've done. I've had to move this pin backwards a bit. So I find the best way to do that is to cut the new pinhole out and put the piece in where it should have been. Obviously, ideally you'd cut a new bracket, but let's be honest, we're not cutting a new bracket at whatever hundreds of pounds they are to have cut. So this now, there's going to be a piece going here. So basically, the hitch is that long, so obviously can't have that hitting the smart grip. So I've given myself about 20mm to make it miss, and you're going to have to sort of pick it up fairly carefully like that, get it in and down. But we'll have a look at that when we get on site, but that's the best I can do. I can't come much further back. If I come a lot further back, I'm going to end up with not being able to, there's a lot of twitch on that, a lot of weight all the way out there. So I've got that all tacked up. So just a quick thing about stopping these from twisting in or out. So best way to do it, I've found, is weld the pins in first, because they can't move. Weld the pins in first. I'll weld them bits in. I'll weld the pins in first, and then I'll weld the outside. I'll weld this bit in first before I weld the outside. But yeah, because the pins will hold it from moving in or out whilst it's being welded. So yeah, that's this hitch bracket. I'll show you when I get these bits in and get it sort of started welding up. It's a heavy old lump, but that's what it needs for that 400. It's a big shear. So you can see that these have been cut, plasmid. Beautiful job on them. Bright bar for pins, because you want pins that are hard, that aren't going to flex. And yeah, 20mm base, 20mm brackets, 65mm pins. So I've altered the spacing out. It'll be about 420 now between the pins, but there is loads of room in a 13-tonner hitch. I have measured it, it will fit. So I had them set before at 380, so they're 50mm, 40mm bigger, which should fit fine. It's not a ginormous difference when you see the amount of room there is in one of them hitches. So, right, I'll bring you back when you get a bit further. Right, so you can see I've got these bits in, got them welded in, got them bits in. So you can see once I grind that down, weld both sides, you'll not really be able to tell. So I've welded that bottom there, and I've done 2 passes in there, 3 passes in there, want another 3 on top. So yeah, there's a bit left to do, but mostly just welding now, so you can see what she's going to look like. I think if I were to do it again, I think I'd put a bit of a gusset in that there, but anyway, this is what it is. It'll certainly do the job. So I'm going to get this all welded up, get all the spatter off it, and then she'll get a coat of red oxide tonight, and I'll paint it black in the morning. Haven't got any black just to hand, so other than rattle cam. So I'll show you it when I get it all welded up, and then I'll show you it when I've got it ground down. So right, so that's it all welded up now. You can see in there it's all welded up, and there. So I'm just going to clean these bits, these corner bits, just give it a quick anti-spatter, and let it cool off a bit, and then splash a bit of paint on it. That's that one all welded up. I've got another one to do later on in the week, so I'll show you that as well. But yeah, it's looking good, that. Happy with it. Right, so that's that painted. So it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night now. So I've just got that painted black. I'm just going to let that tack. Just going to give it a quick second squirt, and then call it a day, I think, because it's got to get fitted on it tomorrow morning, early doors. So I'll no doubt scratch some of that paint off. There's a couple of runs on the underside where I got a bit keen with it, but to be honest, that goes against the machine anyway. So as long as these sides look good, and that middle, that looks good, it's happy as Larry. Right, I think that's it for this one. Right, so we're on another hitch bracket today. This one's going to be slightly different because I'm going to try and cut it all myself with me arc droid. So this is a 200 that's been out on hire. It's done about, I don't know, week and a bit's work, 2 weeks at the most. Still pretty much like new, other than the paint scratched. Anyway, I've sold that to a guy down at Derby. So I am going to cut some hitch brackets because his is going on a 3-tonner. So hitch brackets, 35mm pins, 180 centres, 120 dipper width. So I have marked out my base plate. It's not so big, but it doesn't need to be very big. So I've centre punched where my holes are going to go. So I'm going to try and cut the holes and the outside with the arc droid and the plasma. I'll see how I go on. I've got enough material here to do it with a mag drill if it all goes wrong. So I'm going to try and cut this out, and then I'm going to try and cut 2 sides out of this and possibly this, whatever. So there'll be obviously 2 35mm holes, and then the outside, and then I'll fray it all together. So I've got some 35mm bar other day. So right, I'll probably video cutting this. Right, so we've got the base plate and them two cut out. You saw me cutting them. So what I'm doing now, just clean them holes out with Dremel, just so that the M16 bolts will go through nicely for this 200. And then I like to use this chamfering tool just to chamfer them holes. I'll show you. That just makes a nicer job, just looks nice, looks like you've attempted it. I will then have to just clean these holes out with Dremel, or with die grinder, whatever you want to call it. And then, yeah, put the pins through, weld it up, bolt it on, call it done. I know it looks a tiny hitch, but it's only a 2.5 tonner. So, yeah, that goes on there like so. So, yep, that's that. Don't need to do a lot more with it. They fit, the holes line up. So I'll show you it when I get it welded. I'll get it tacked together, should I say. I'll bring you back. Right, just thought I'd show you this. So I've got this tacked up now. This is the hitch for that 200 that's just there. So I know it doesn't look very big, but it is only a 3-ton machine. This will be plenty to hold it onto that. So I'm just going to frap this up, probably do 3 runs down each side, 3 runs down the middle, and then probably just 1 run round each pin. See what it looks like. Might do 3 runs round pins as well, and then we'll call it good. As always weld the pins first, and then it sets your distance then. You know, your dipper width. So I've got dipper width, and then pin centres, and then your pin size. So on this, give me a ruler. Your pin centres is 180. See that there? Your dipper width 120, up to 1 mil, and then your pin size. It's bad to measure that, but it's 35. So yeah, I'll bring you back when we get it hung up ready for some paint. Right, that's that hitch in primer. Primer's dry. I'm just going to spray it with a bit of black, and then it can dry overnight, and then it can get bolted onto this 200 in the morning, ready for the guy to pick up.